And welcome. This is Chartwise Women with Ellen McGonagle and Erin Swenlin, brought to you each and every Thursday afternoon. And we welcome you, of course, each and every week to join us as we educate and engage our viewers. Erin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. It's been a lovely weather week for sure. Cool, but very sunny and nice. I enjoy that. And of course, it's been a pretty interesting trading week.
Oh, to say the least, yes, it has. We've experienced quite a shift here in the markets, and it's really bringing a lot of new life into areas that were dormant for quite some time. So I'm sure we'll get into some of that today. We are going to have, I think, a little more fun today as we look at our selves and as it relates to the market. So we're going to do a little segment called Would You Rather? And this is where we are going to take different scenarios, and Erin and I are going to share with you what we would rather do given a set of very positive circumstances that's going to land in our laps here. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, then from there, we are going to tie it into the markets, stocks that based on our decisions on what we would rather do if we were suddenly bestowed, whether it's a record-setting amount of money, a record-setting amount of time, what would we rather do? And then take a look at some of the companies that could help us go ahead and do what we would rather do.
Absolutely. I have some great charts, so I'm very excited.
Oh, good. Yeah, this is going to be great. So let's go ahead and get started as usual. We do have our wisdom of the week, and Erin, you came up with this beauty, so I'm going to let you go ahead and share your thoughts.
Absolutely. So today, since we are playing this Would You Rather game, part of it is looking at relative strength, because if you look at relative strength, that's pretty much how stocks compare to each other within a certain group, or however you want to make that grouping. And so you want to make those relative strength comparisons so that you can determine which stocks you'd rather have, because certainly you're going to look at quite a few. And so there are certain items on the chart to be aware of. And looking at relative strength is one of those excellent spots to start.
Yes, and I would say within that, just to add a little bit, you're going to compare the relative strength of your given stock, not only to its peers within that industry group, but also to the markets. Is it relatively, from my work, I want to be centered on those names that are showing relative outperformance, and then of course take other characteristics into account with an eye toward that relative outperformance continuing on. So we're going to share some examples, of course, as we move along here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with our first Would You Rather? And yeah, so this first scenario, each of us has been given a week off from everything. Can you imagine?
That'd be great.
Yeah. Now, of course, a year ago, this could have been even a lot more interesting, but we're going to take what we can get here. And so we don't have to worry about any little thing at all. What would you do? So the choices here are, would you go camping, go out and be one with nature? That's been a very popular activity for quite a lot of people. Or would you take that time and stay at a luxury hotel? Erin, what would you rather?
Well, people who know me well would know this answer very quickly, and that would be staying at a luxury hotel. That is definitely one of my top preferences for that choice. While I enjoy the idea of camping, the actual camping itself, unless it's in a nice appointed RV or something, is not very appealing to me.
Glamping. Okay, let's see your chart. Let's see your...
Absolutely. So I'm going to share my screen here. And I'm going to look at, let's see, I saved all these charts in this giant list. So now I'm like trying to find all the ones that I had put in here already. So let me just call it up. So usually that chart list doesn't have anything in it, and I
Suddenly it's packed.
Suddenly it's packed. Okay. So Marriott, I thought I would look at first. And I think this stock is still looking pretty good. Granted, is on the overbought side. You can see that right here. But you can also see that relative strength, that scooter ranking, and that is 75.2. So we know that Marriott's in the upper quartile of all large cap stocks. So I like this. You've got this area right here that is now acting as support. It was resistance, and it's staying above that line. So I like that. And then if you look really quickly at the Marriott weekly chart, momentum is really going the right way. You have a very positive RSI. So you know that it's not overbought as far as price, despite this big gap up. So to me, I think Marriott looks pretty good right now.
Yeah, it does. Actually, a lot of these hotel stocks are coming back into favor as the markets are shifting a bit into what we're calling the recovery trade. Is this another one, or should I?
Yes, I think I have one more here. There it is, Hilton Grand Vacations. And so this one's
Mm.
actually annotated for you, but it's a very similar chart. So I mean, I don't think we're looking at much different here, except the RSI isn't quite as overbought. And I think your upside potential here is really good if it can just get back to the high from 2020. So I like HGV as well.
Actually, yeah, then I was going, if you want to pull up HLT, it's Hilton, it's in that same category. And among their other hotels, they have the Waldorf Astoria line. And
Ooh.
when I used to go to New York quite a bit for business, I would stay there. Lovely hotel, and they're located throughout the US. But take a look, we can see the stock gapped up. And a lot of that, of course, talking about the recovery trade in line with that vaccine announcement. So the stock did have a big advance on that Monday. It wound up closing the day up 12%. It was up quite a bit more. And it's really settled in nicely. What you want to see after these stocks gap up, you want them to retain a presence above the lower portion of that gap up or find support at their upward trending 10-day simple moving average, which this stock in fact has done. So it's holding in really well. Before we leave this segment, can we just take a quick look at Yeti,
Uh-huh.
YETI? And this is a big favorite for anyone that would choose camping as their activity for that 1 week. That's certainly a way to really dial out, particularly if you don't have internet access. But Yeti is a consumer direct product, and they do actually sell through retail, but they've really picked up on their direct to consumer product sales. And they have everything from coolers to drink dispensers, chairs, and they really have a unique arrangement or actually connection with their customers. They've come really a long way, and their products are super popular. Take a look. It did, in essence, drop significantly, unlike the hotels, on that vaccine news, because the thinking was people would walk away from camping. But since then, it's really recovered quite nicely. And that's what I wanted to point out. We're seeing that with some of these, what are called lockdown stocks, such as Yeti. They did sell off immediately, but some of them are coming back, and this one is one of them. This was a big winner on our MEM Edge report from May into that September period before it fell off, and we're going to take another look at it. It looks really quite interesting. So let's,
Absolutely.
yeah. So how
You
about
didn't
we?
answer though. What was your answer?
Oh my goodness, I apologize. Yes, I'm in your camp. Haha, I would go for the luxury hotel. I've tried camping when my kids were younger, and we have really incredible memories. But given my choice, I'll take the nice hotel with all its amenities.
There you
Yeah. So
go. A
this
nice
is
camping world. It's in a declining trend. Not liking this one that much, but you do have the RSI getting positive and a buy signal on our momentum oscillator.
Hmm, really very interesting. Yeah, because I would think not just because of the recovery trade taking place, but the seasonality for camping out here. Of course, in the West Coast, we have lovely weather, but they got a real cold spell back east about a week or so, or maybe it's 2 weeks now, where Boston had snow.
Right. Well, this is a falling wedge, and that is a bullish pattern. So I just wanted to double check that. So it still looks pretty good.
Very interesting. All righty.
Next up,
Yes.
excited.
Would you rather? Okay, here's the scenario. You've won $1 million in the lottery. How would you use it? One choice is, would you buy a second home, or would you do something nice for your family? Those
This,
are, yeah.
yes. Are you going to go? Are you going to tell us your story?
Yeah, I can do it very quickly. Sure. In
Mhm.
my case, I would, it would have to be down the road, but take a ski trip with the family. We've done this before. We've gone skiing over in Europe. We've skied all around the US, and I would do that again. I have very fond memories. It's just a great activity, a great way to reconnect with your family and get into the great outdoors. Erin, if you wouldn't mind pulling up DKS, that's Dick's,
Or
one of the few remaining sporting goods store where we can go ahead and get outfitted in only the finest, given our new $1 million windfall. Um,
there we go.
yeah, so this is
Interesting.
right. So in this particular stock, of course, does give the appearance of reversing its recent downtrend. And I mentioned this. This is one of very few standalone sporting goods stores that have survived. A lot of consolidation and bankruptcies within this industry, but Dick's does appear to be turning around. It's breaking back up above those key moving averages, and that RSI is just poised to turn positive. So I would put this on your radar screen. They are certainly due to report earnings. And we can also take a look at Big Five. That's BGFV. This is another sporting goods store, a little more in the discounting area. Uh, and this too would be a good place to go ahead and get those new ski boots and all of the amenities.
Mhm.
But this particular stock we can see is in a bit even better standing. The stock is breaking out of a 1 month base and looking, or actually poised to, it's trading at about $9, at about $9.72. You can talk about that base breakout, but it's getting nice volume characteristics. It's up almost 8% today on very big volume and looking quite constructive.
Absolutely. And you can see positive RSI. We almost have a buy signal on the price momentum oscillator, our momentum oscillator here at decision point.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can see the volume has just been very, it's staying up there. You want to see that with the OBV. Even a flat OBV is better than one that is in decline. So that looks great. And relative strength, hello, 99.4.
Exactly. Yeah, looking good. And it does have a price target up as high as 15 on the stock from analysts subsequent to their earnings. Yeah. So Erin, you have $1 million. Let's
Yes. So I don't think I technically would be buying a second home, but I think I would buy it for my brother and his family. They need a bigger place. I would love to set them up probably somewhere that I'd want to go often.
that home would come with a few strings there, right?
Exactly. So I'm going to actually share two of my diamonds from yesterday. So you're lucky because my subscribers pay quite a bit of money for this information.
Oh,
But
wow.
I'm going to share home builders. Home builders have really started to rally. I've really liked their charts. They're starting to look really exciting. And I think KB Home is a great example of that. You can see an RSI that's just hit positive territory. You have a new price momentum oscillator buy signal coming in here. You can see volume coming in right here on that OBV. It's rising higher with the bottoms. Relative strength, meh, not so great on this one. But I have to say the rest of this chart looks really great. Looks really good.
Yeah, they're setting records. These housing starts came out this week, and the numbers were absolutely incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here you have off of this decline, the short-term decline, a double bottom shaping up. You have, again, PMO buy signal. You can see rising bottoms on that OBV to match the rising bottoms in that rally. And the RSI, it isn't quite positive, but at 49, it's not so bad either. So I do like the home builders. So that sort of fits the second home / do something for your family.
Wow, very, very nice of you. We're going to take a brief break, but we have lots more of interesting scenarios that we are going to share with you. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. We're having a little bit of fun today, but also sharing with you some really interesting charts within some of these different industries that are out there. Of course, we alluded to the shift that's taking place in the markets. And so we're seeing that within some of these stocks that we're sharing with you as far as their sharp reaction to the vaccine news and where they're standing now. So let's carry on. Erin, would you rather? And in this lovely scenario, you have been awarded a special grant. It's going to help you to start a second business because you don't have enough that you're doing with Decision Point.
I know exactly.
You're now going to have be bestowed with this grant so that you can start a secondary business. And what would that be? What would your business? Yeah.
I think that I would probably open up a little boutique craft store because I like to knit, I like to cross stitch, needlepoint. I'm gonna learn to crochet soon. I figure if I can knit, I can crochet. But so I would go probably down the crafting route and just have a cute little store in downtown Redlands where I live. I think
Very
that's a lot
nice.
of fun. So let's look at Etsy is one. This has been a lot of people from Market Watchers remember me for Etsy. It was one that I picked. Oh gosh, I can look at the weekly chart here. Yeah, so it was back when it was in the $10, $20, $30 range, back when I picked it on Market Watchers. And we just kept watching it go up and up. And everybody kept telling, oh, Etsy and Erin, you know. But I have to say, I'm looking at the chart right now, and it looks pretty good. Again, it's, you know, you're getting that RSI moving into positive territory. You're seeing the increase in momentum turning to the upside. And of course, relative strength, you've got it back above the 75 mark, which is what I like to see. I always talk about the hot zone between 75 and 100. And the meaning behind that is it tells me that whatever stock I'm looking at is at least in the top quartile of all the stocks in its universe. So in this case, Etsy is 95.5.
And yeah, I was just going to say, for those not familiar, Etsy is a commerce platform for crafty individuals such as yourself, Erin, and you can sell your wares there. And they had a huge burst coming out of the bear market because they were creating face masks that were super popular, but they've gone on well beyond that. They really increased their subscribership. And I didn't mean to interrupt. You were sharing with us where the chart is at this point.
Yeah,
and it's,
actually, yeah, and I think it looks pretty good. They're obviously having a really great day today. I know there's talk of more lockdowns, so maybe that's what this will become one of those viral plays, if you will.
Yes, you're absolutely right. In fact, today we are seeing a move back, and I think we've been sharing some of that. Stocks such as, okay. I was going to say Peloton, PTON, but it's still well below its prior highs. But you know, we're seeing some of these lockdown stocks trying to reverse their downtrends here. So kind of interesting. So I was going to say, I can share with you the grant. I wasn't sure just how much the funding would be. So I went equally probably small, similar to your idea. And this is something for years I've often had the idea that I wanted to have a little donut shop on the beach at the end of a pier, something that could, I could go and visit. It could run itself, but it'd just be a place for people to gather, have their coffee and a nice donut while enjoying the view and the ocean.
You're gonna have to help me with that symbol. I'm trying.
Well, let's pull up Starbucks. I was
Oh.
going to do Dunkin' Donuts, but they've been brought private, I believe, or they're not
Got it.
actively. Yeah, so we can take a look at Starbucks. They could be my competitor, if you will, but but it is a great chart just to look at because it had that gap up out of that nice base, and that is everything to do with management guiding higher into next year. They've had a difficult period, as did certainly most brick and mortar stores that tried to transition, and they are very constructive. Management is very constructive about next year and their outlook. And we've had that gap up, pulled back a little, but it's now trading at new highs. So for those of you that this may have gone off your radar screen, I would urge you to put it back on. It's looking quite constructive. And then from here, we can look at another big cap name. McDonald's has gotten into, of course, their breakfast, but other foods. They're doing a lot in the way of innovating their menus of late, but it's not really translating. The company had fallen out of favor and is trying to reverse that downtrend, but not so much luck. It's finding some resistance at those simple moving averages. So really has a bit more in the way of work to do before turning constructive. But those are certainly some stocks that are also within that food category, retail food. Yeah. So
I like it.
very good.
We have one more, right?
Yes, we do. We have one more. This last one, let's go ahead and take a look at Would You Rather. You've just inherited your great uncle's farm. This from two luxury hotel goers. Erin, we've just inherited a farm, and it needs to be updated. Would you buy some farm machinery, or would you upgrade the food quality for the livestock?
Right. Well, I think I had said beforehand I would try and actually avoid raising livestock for numerous reasons. Number one being the scent that would be around me all the time. But so my first thing would be, of course, converting it from being a livestock farm into being a more farm machinery. I would work toward grains and some of those types of things. So I would go with A, and I have two charts to share. One is Caterpillar, and I really like this chart. You have a nice rally. You have that breakout after the gap like you were talking about. Now it's consolidating. It's still in a rising trend. The OBV, the volume is confirming it. There's your relative strength number, really great. RSI is positive. So I really like the setup on Caterpillar, CAT. And then I had one more, Deer. Oh, dear. Deer still looks pretty good. It's still in a nice rally. You've got the PMO buy signal and it's not overbought. That PMO, you're looking at relative strength being excellent and a positive RSI. It may be getting a little bit on the overbought side, but overall, I think Deer looks pretty good. And if you look at that weekly chart, almost straight up right now, a little bit overbought, but
clear cut uptrend. They've come a long way with their technology. The company is really helping agriculturally, farmers with their seed technology and also helping really refine exactly when you plant and how much and so forth. So they're really embracing technology and really helping the productivity of farmers, and it's being embraced. The stock's in a confirmed uptrend. Certainly one other stock we can look at is Tyson, and that particular company does a lot in the way of providing feed for those animals. So TSN.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm still not, I don't know them all.
And so we can see this is a consumer staple stock. They've just been kind of muddling along for the most part here. And Tyson did have an earlier in the week downtrend reversal up above that 200 exponential moving average, but it's fallen back. So that downtrend reversal, it did occur on big volume, which was constructive. It looked compelling, but subsequent to that, it has fallen back below that key area. You're going to want to see a retake and before getting involved in this stock, certainly something with more oomph back above that 200-day and then a continuation rally. So not very interesting at this time.
No, it's at the top of that trading range, and yeah, it didn't even make it back up to test the top of that range. So that tells you there's a lot of weakness, despite that positive 20-day, 50-day EMA. Silver cross is what we like to call those.
There you go. Very good. Okay, well, that is it for What Would You Rather Do? And we're going to move on. We have our final segment here where we take a look at the headlines around the globe. And yeah, that happened. And today's report comes to us from Tulsa, Oklahoma. They have a I want to call it a promotion, but they are offering people that can work remotely to come join their community. And they are offering a $10,000 cash for those that come to Tulsa. With that, you'll get a space, a shared workspace in the city. You are mandated that you do need to stay within Tulsa, not any of their outlying suburban areas. And it's being met with very high demand. In fact, the Bay Area and a lot of California, they said over half of the applicants were from California. And in particular, the Bay Area is flooding the city. They want out, they want lower taxes. So yeah, that happened.
Yes. There's a lot going on up in the Bay Area. I'm kind of glad I'm down here in Southern California.
Yeah.
So I have to say, I'm surprised they actually have to pay people to leave California right now.
I know it. I know it. Well, not paying them to leave. I think Tulsa wants them to join their community and grow their inner city. And it's really taking hold. It's very interesting. Yeah. So let's take a look, Erin, at a couple of stocks. Those of you that would take the Tulsa, Oklahoma up on their offer and might move, we can take a look at PSA, that's Public Storage, and that's a stock that had been doing well initially a lot during the beginning of lockdown. A lot of people were moving back to their family homes and storing their goods. This is a REIT stock. Of course, storage units, and we can see that the stock, as I mentioned, had been in a nice uptrend, but it's faltering a bit here of late. A little sloppy looking, a lot of wide and loose trading. We can see that gap down on the vaccine news, really rather reactive, and it's still trying to recover from that move.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, right now it's holding this support level here at the tops, but it's barely doing so. Yeah, I'm not a fan. It just looks like it's rounding off here. RSI went negative. We've got a top below the signal line here for the PMO. Yeah, not much to look at.
Yeah, so I didn't know if you had another.
I know people have been asking me about Zoom. So I mean, if you're moving and you need
very good. Yeah, you're working remotely. That's a perfect one.
Sure. Okay. It's one that's on my mind because it's forming a double bottom. I still am not happy about that gap down. And you are seeing that 20-day EMA getting ready to cross below the 50. PMO has now hit negative territory. But this one I would probably watch with the talk of more lockdowns. I think that
very good.
Zoom might be a good one.
That's good. We are out of time. Everyone, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you not next Thursday. That's Thanksgiving, but after that. Have a great holiday, everyone.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.